Martin Stringer.
Well, you know,
you look familiar. I think I remember seeing you on Parliament Hill.
you look familiar too. And I guess my question is, you're, like many people, you're here meeting with the Conservative faithful, but you're also talking to them. How close are you to making a decision about whether you're going to run or not?
Well, I mean, this is part, I suppose, of that formulation and internal decision that has to come. You know, there's external forces, and talking to a lot of people helps in that regard. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a family decision. It's going to be a decision that I have to come to quite personally on whether I have the desire to do it. But, you know, this is a great place to have that kind of thought process and consultation. Lots of enthusiasm. I think it may surprise Canadians how up people are feeling. And our party is resilient. The fact that we're here in British Columbia, that the numbers are so high, that people are engaged and want to talk about really important issues that we've wrestled with as a party and as a country for a long time, just shows the true beating heart of the Conservative Party.
But we are 1 year, almost to the day, away from a leadership convention.
And 3 years away from an election. So
what's your timetable in terms of when you will decide?
It won't be at this convention.
No. But is it in the next 2-3 months? Is it 6 months from now?
Well, you can't really say when the decision will be taken, but I mean it'll be done through the calculus of my family, and certainly after 18 years in politics, I think I have a good bit of reflecting to do as to whether I'm prepared to go back. It's been less than a year since I left public life, so. I'm in the private sector now. I'm with a good firm, Baker & McKenzie. They've treated me well. I have a 7-month-old baby girl at home and a little boy, and a wife who's been incredibly supportive of me. So those are the entire driving factors that will go into the decision.
What about the other factor that's often mentioned, that is that it's a lot less of a pressing concern, a decision, if you are convinced that it might be better to run not in 3 years' time, not for the next election, but for the election after that?
Well, I mean, I've heard that theory as well, but again, I come back to the fact that I can only deal with my own personal circumstance. And, you know, I've been around politics a good part of my professional life, my working life, and I care deeply about the country. This is also a major factor when I look at many of the policies that are being undone, when I look at the shape of the economy and the challenges that I foresee possibly on the horizon, Canada's place in the world. I think this is a time where we need very strong leadership.
Last question, and this was one that is very near and dear to your heart, and that is one member, one vote. We've seen Conservative convention after Conservative convention where this issue's come up. It's going to come up again. There's another proposal on the floor to go to one member, one vote, to abandon the traditional weighting of each riding having equal weight. What happens if that passes?
Well, I mean, firstly, let's go back to basic principles. Our process of giving equal weight to all the ridings is exactly the way that our electoral system works in Canada. There's a movement afoot, as you know, by the Liberal government to change that to a proportional or weighted system that most Conservatives that I've talked to are heavily against. So it would be more than ironic if we were to then suddenly turn around and change our own process, which has been very successful. I mean, let's be honest. We've been able to form a majority government, most recently under this particular system, that treats all ridings equally. So, I mean, the arguments are there. I'm quite confident we're going to see this go the way it has on 5 previous occasions.
Well, that was the other question. It was close last time. So you're you're ready to go to the barricades again, because there have been, it's gone all the way to threats of this is a founding principle of the party, and if it should pass, there were even threats, I don't know whether you made them explicitly, but people ready to walk from the party.
Well, it is a founding principle, and it was something that I felt passionately about then, when we brought the Conservative movement together, when we really brought the family back together. It's been a successful and an important part of who we are, and I expect that it will remain.
You don't think it's going to be a threat?
No, I don't.
Peter MacKay, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.